Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Starting with the name of Allah, the most beneficent and the most merciful. My name is Malaika and I am in the Department of BS Chemistry. Today I am going to present a presentation on my experience of completing 5 courses of SQL. So the first course that I completed was Intro to SQL. In that course consisted of 4 chapters, and first chapter was about selecting the columns, that how we can select different columns. Second chapter was about how we can filter those columns according to our conditions. In third chapter, I studied about some of the aggregate functions that we could use in the columns. And in the fourth chapter, I studied about it how we can sort or group data. So talking about the first chapter, in which I learned about selecting columns. So basically, if you want to select a single column from a specific table, then here I have shared an example of that. For example, your table name is films and you want to select the title column. You will simply write select title from films followed by semicolon. If you want to select multiple columns, then the syntax would be the same, but the column names would be separated by commas. If I want to select any distinct or unique value from the table, then I will simply write the abbreviation distinct before the column name. If I want a numeric sum of any column, then simply the column will be followed by the abbreviation count. In chapter 2, I studied about it how I can filter columns according to the conditions. For example, if I want the title and release year of the films that were released before 2000 and the language of those films was Spanish, then I will use the where clause, which will define that I want the title and release year of the films that were released before 2000 and I want the language of the films that were in Spanish. If you want to filter your result in a specific range, then you will use the between clause. For example, if I want my title and release year of a film which were released between 1990 and 2000, then I will use between clause. If I want a very specific result, then I will use wherein clause. For example, if I want the title and release year of the films that were released in 1990 and 1000 specifically, then I will use wherein clause. In the third chapter, I studied about some aggregate functions. If I want average of any column, then simply I will write the AVG abbreviation followed by the column name. If I want sum of any column, then simple SUM abbreviation will be followed by the column name. If I want the maximum value of any column from a specific table, then I will write the abbreviation MAX followed by the column name. If I want the minimum amount of any column from a specific table, then simply MIN abbreviation will be followed by the column name. In the last chapter, I said about sorting and ordering my data. So if I want to order my result, then I will use order by clause. For example, I want the title of the film which was released in 2000 and 2012 and want to order my result by release year, then I will use the syntax order by. If I want to group my result by any specific column, then I will use the group by clause. For example, if I want to group my data of release year and the minimum gross output from the films by release year, then I will use the syntax release year. This was my statement of accomplishment that arrived in seconds just after I completed my first course. That's all from my side. Thank you.